So we're trying to get some tips today, top tips for hill climbing. Who better to ask than the man that's won the British Hillclimb Championship 6 times? Scott Moran, firstly, you've just won the run-off this morning, so firstly, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit how you got into hill climbing.
I guess through my dad, really. He did a bit of rallying back in the 70s and 80s, and that got a bit expensive. Myself and my sister came along, so that slowed him up a bit. So he got a friend of his talked him into going doing a bit of hill climbing. He came here, I think, in '88 in his rally car, and took an FTD at a national B, clubby event, and then progressed to single seaters, and then he won the championship in '97, competing against your father. Yeah. You'd have been this big, but yeah. I started in '95, actually in a little Delta single seater, but then my sister wanted to go, so we got a little road going Caterham, and that I found my feet in that, and that was really good fun. 2002, I wanted to buy a house with my wife Deb, and the Caterham had to go for a deposit, so that put the pay to that. But then Dad was in the middle of getting a new pill being built, so he said, "Why didn't you jump in with me?" And I did the foolish move of sort of jumping from a road going, which is a very quick road car, but still nothing like a single seater, to a top flight, basically one of these.
Yeah.
And it was just very much walk before I could run.
Big step.
It was a big step. It was quite, it probably wasn't too big a step, but I just had to be sensible. 2005 we got the gold that I won the championship, and that's where I really found my feet, and it was
the rest is history.
The rest is history, as I say. Yeah.
So you were talking about how you had a lot of advice from people, and that's one thing about the hill climb paddock is everybody is always there to give advice. Yeah.
There's always somebody to lend a hand. Like we came down last night, and there was one of the guys across the way in a little single seater. He'd made a bit of a mess of things, so we'd got in the back of the trailer for a few nuts and bolts and a torch so he could see what he was doing. He didn't finish the job until 2 o'clock this morning, but there was loads of people around handing tools or kit, parts, and everybody wants to do well, but it's still that nice, it's still a club event, and people are happy to help.
And you want to beat people on the hill, not in the paddock.
I'd much rather have them on the track. I'd much rather see them like Wallace at Chelsea a couple of weeks ago had an incident. I'd much rather him to have got to the top, so I've got to give me a time to go at, and that's what we're here for.
Yes.
So yeah.
So we've come to the best for advice, and I promise not to tell the other competitors around us today, but if you had a top tip for somebody starting out their hill climbing journey to be quick on a hill, what's the secret to being a quick hill climb driver?
I think the biggest thing is be smooth. There's no margin for error. On a circuit you can go around. If you make a bit of a mess of a corner, you can have another go next time around it. Here, there's no prisoners. If you get it wrong, you're generally going to be on the grass, or if you spin and don't hit anything, you're going to be fairly lucky really. All the tracks have got so much safer in the years. So if you look back to what it used to be, you think, crikey, what are you doing taking that up between lines of trees and no barriers and tyre walls or anything? But it's so much safer now than it ever used to be. But no, I think the smooth as you can, and but again, walk before you can run. Learn the hills. Most of the hills now have got a driving school. They do a brilliant driving school here at Loughton, and they do one at Prescott, Gurston, Shelsley, and Harewood. They're all really worthwhile to do, and you can take your road car, just go in, whatever you drive to work, take that up, and you can have. I think they ran one in the week. I think they had 8 or 9 runs, and it's just learning, and you get to walk the hill. Always walk the hill. That's we still do that now, even if we've been up there hundreds of times, we still always walk the hill in a weekend, because you might see something else that you've not noticed before, and or if they've changed something, they're not going to change the layout of the course, but there may be something else that a new bit of barrier or a new bit of tarmac that's in there that you might not have known about. So always walk it, but be smooth.
Smooth, always walk the hill. That's really good advice. And any other piece of advice for someone coming to a hill climb for the first time, or is that your main advice?
The main advice, enjoy it. Don't take it all too seriously. It's not, at the end of the day, we're here for fun. So just enjoy it. It doesn't matter if you finish first or last. As long as you're always up against the clock. So it doesn't matter if you're winning your class or against yourself. There's always the clock, and that's the big. If you can get a PB, come away from a weekend with a PB, you've done your best. That's all you can ask for.
Scott, thank you so much for your time. Great advice from a great champion and a winner already today. So best of luck this afternoon and thanks for your time.
Thanks very much. Cheers, buddy. Thank you.